Hey everyone, it's Dustin again with the Webex Room Devices team. And on this episode of the Webex Edge, we're going to talk about digital signage and web apps. So let's get right to it. So I got my laptop here, and of course I've got my Webex board behind me, and I'm going to pull up Chrome, and I've already logged into Control Hub, and I'm going to go to devices because I'm going to find my device back here behind me. So I'm going to do a search for the Webex Edge. And you'll see here that I found my board. It's online. When I select it, I'm able to scroll down over here on the right pane, and I can see a lot about this. I can do some configurations, which we'll do another video on that later. But I have the digital signage link right here, and when I click on it, it's going to bring up a configuration page, which is great because now I can actually assign digital signage to devices without actually having to be on the same network as them. I don't have to talk to them directly. So Control Hub can send this to the device for me, and I don't have to actually talk to the device directly. So here, quite simply, all I have to do is enter the URL of whatever it is that I want to be used for digital signage. And probably a good key note here to say that digital signage happens when the device is in half wake, which is what you actually see right here. It's when it's not completely on standby, it's in kind of a what we call half wake mode, and instead of showing the floating bubbles here, you would actually see some sort of digital signage. In this case, a web page, which we're going to put up. And I think what we're going to use here is Project Workplace. Cisco.com. And one of the things that's interesting about the boards is that you won't have this on room devices, but because this is a board and you have the interactivity capabilities of the board itself, if you select this toggle right here, it will allow it to be interactive. So which means that when the signage is up, if I come up and I touch the board, I'll actually interact with the signage. Rather than if I had that turned off and I touch the board, it would just wake the board up and simply get rid of the digital signage. So there's a use case for both. We're going to do interactivity, and then I'm going to say enable digital signage. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And what will happen is that's going to push down, and automatically you see behind me here, and we'll go to the big view, that our device is in half wake, so we're actually in digital signage mode right now, and this is Project Workplace. And because I did the interactivity, you'll see that I'm actually able to interact with this board and navigate to the different sites as needed while I'm in half wake. If I press the home button, I wake the board back up, and I'm back to being able to use my board like normal. So let's go back to Control Hub, and what I'm also going to show you is another way to do this. So here I have my digital signage that has been configured. I'm going to X out of that. I'm going to select my board again, and I'm going to show you that you can now do a cross launch, which you've been able to do this, but this is going to actually take me to the web interface of the device. So when I click on Launch Web Portal, I'm going to say Proceed, and it's going to cross launch and log me in with my cloud credentials to the actual device itself. Now the note here is that you have to be able to talk to the device. So if I was on a separate network or on LTE or somewhere else, I wouldn't be able to do this. So I have to be able to communicate with that device. So from here, I can go to the Setup Configuration pane, and in Standby, on the left-hand side, you'll see this is where the signage mode was able to be configured. So here's where I was able to change the interactivity. That's the Project Workplace. Everything that we created is actually in here, which was sent down from Control Hub, but I could do it from here as well. Now, the reason I wanted to come here and show you this was that you can also do something called WebApps. Now, I'm going to show you the new UI extensions editor here. So I did my cross launch. I'm in the web GUI. We'll eventually be able to do this from Control Hub, but today this is how you're going to have to do it. But we're going to go to our UI extensions editor, and you're going to see this nice new interface where you can add your first UI extension. So I'm going to hit New, and you'll see over here on the right-hand side, you'll see WebApp. When I click Add, all I have to do is go over here, give it a name, and we're going to go ahead and do something great like YouTube. YouTube. We should probably go to the Webex Edge channel. And we're just going to put www.youtube.com. Now, there's an additional field here for the web app icon URL. This is optional. I'll explain what that is here in a second. There's actually a good description right here, but essentially we'll talk about it now. Some web pages have the ability to do have a favicon, a little icon, and it will fetch it automatically and use that as the icon on the board for your web app, which I'll show you here in a second. YouTube actually has one. But if a site doesn't have one, you could put a link to a specific image you want to have to kind of give your icon its own image. There'll be some enhancements coming to this, but for right now, we're just going to go straight with YouTube and show you what it is. So I've got this added, and I'm just going to go up here and press this export configuration button. So it has been exported, and I'm going to say OK. Now let's look at our board. So we're back on the board here. We're still in signage mode. We're going to go back up here, and we see now that we have this new web app, and it's YouTube, and we have the YouTube icon. So if I simply click on that app, it's going to open up YouTube. And with the super blazing fast internet I have, we now have YouTube up. And there's all kinds of great movies or videos that are available, interactive, ready to go. Press the home button, back at the top. So that's it on web apps and digital signage. Stay tuned. We're going to do some more videos when it comes to web apps and interactivity. So keep checking in. Thanks.